Yes, people. Welcome back to another episode of That Gunner Talk. It's your boy KAPE has Pausa, and I'm with the one and only Gunner Street.
Big up.
If you're tuning into the stream, appreciate the love. Obviously, late night in the UK, evening in the US. Love to everyone that's tuning in with us. Obviously, make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to both of our channels, and make sure you're getting into the comments as well. But before we get into any of the talking points today, obviously, Steph, how are you feeling today? How's your day been, brother?
Bro, a good day. Can't complain. Life is good. Everything is moving good, feeling good. Coming off the back of a win, coming off the back of good vibes. Got some interesting stuff to talk about, as people can see by the title. So people get your comments in, get your likes in. Let's get the stream to 10 likes on each side. You already know how we do. And yeah, man, let's have some good conversation.
Yeah, my day's been eventful, been long. I can't lie to you.
No, long ones, bro.
Tiring day, but obviously, speaking about Arsenal is always just energetic. So I'm excited today, obviously, and even though it's a bit tough on the players, I do like that there's games every 3 days, so it's nice to we don't have to miss the boys too much. But yeah,
you know what I'll say to that though, bro. It's difficult for the players, but bro, as a content creator that kind of makes like idea-centric content, it's super hard sometimes, bro, because you might find one day there's an idea to talk about, and then next day, like, it's so difficult to pick which ideas you want to talk about and which ideas you want to speak on, bro. Because one day it's Eze, the next day it's Saka, next day it's Rice, next day it's Odegaard, next day it's this, and if you're not pushing out content every single day, bro, sometimes your video can get lost. So that's the difficulty about doing this kind of job, bro. I must say.
Yeah, that's why it's like you have to stay up to date. You have to, if you can make content daily, then you're almost in the bag, because obviously any news that comes out, you're kind of touching on it as soon as, and in the algorithm. So it's interesting, but there's always topics, narratives, and I guess it's just how. I guess there's luck to an extent in it, but you just have to see how it goes, man. But appreciate everyone tuning into the live. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. Obviously, you got Nation here. Shout you out. Obviously, hater. Obviously, Chelsea fan, as we know. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Obviously, yesterday we won 3-0 against Club Brugge. The Champions League, 6 wins out of 6 now in the group phase. 17 goals scored, 1 conceded. Obviously, yesterday heavily rotated side. Good performance in my opinion. I don't know what you thought. Obviously, it was an entertaining game as well. I think Club Brugge defo showed their quality, especially in the way they can build up and attack. And obviously caused us some problems. David Raya had to make some save, but I think in terms of, it's one of those games where you wanted some of the attackers to capitalize on facing this type of opposition, and I think most of them did. And in terms of the rotation, we're able to see players rest. What was your thoughts on the game yesterday, just that initially?
Overall, a perfect night, to be honest. Some people in the game were questioning the lineups going into the game. Norgard, you had Norgard going in at centre back. We've seen him play a few games at centre back for Brentford, like 1 or 2, but ultimately that's a new position for him. What's going to happen with Lewis Skelly coming in? The last performance, some people weren't really happy with. The midfield trio had some experience together, but I don't know how often we've seen that midfield duo for Arsenal. So that was good to see that as well take part. And then finally, you have Gyokeres up front. You have Martinelli and Madueke, all guys that are coming back from injury, and all guys that are looking to prove a point, know that they get their minutes and time to show in the Champions League game. I think some guys did well. Some guys left a lot to be flattered with. But again, that comes in with returning to form, finding your confidence in and around the team. But I thought some performances there were good. I thought Norgard looked pretty assured in his position, stepping in from the cold, basically. I thought he did well. And that's a catalyst for some of these players. He's not even just this season, but even like seasons prior. We know Jorginho was able to come in from the cold, not get much minutes, and give that experience with his ability to have played so many games under his belt already. So we know that's like kind of a staple for guys that have to come into this squad, who have to be of the level when you come in. So I thought, give Norgard some credit. I thought the midfield 3 balanced really well together. You could see that they have that experience together. And at one point, I saw James even mention this from on his channel. He was saying it felt like 22-23 with some of the pieces were finally putting back together. You have that midfield, you have a strong, good ball player at the base of it, which would be Partey, no Zubimendi. You have Odegaard back in the 10. You have Moreno taking up Xhaka's role. And ultimately, we thought we looked pretty solid, you know. And then the front three, Madueke was absolutely quality, stunning goal. First goal was good. Second one was good movement to the back post. Zubimendi with a Xhaka-like ball to the back post. So that showed some remnants of 22-23. And then Martinelli, man, another goal, 5 and 5. You called it, man. You've been staying behind the player for a while. Enough guys counted them out. And him alongside Trossard are proving why depth and battle for places are crucial in the top level squad. So I have to give all the guys that played yesterday some praise. But other guys we'll talk about that didn't really do what they should have done.
Yeah, like I think it was a good performance from a lot of players. As you said, Norgard stepping into a position we ain't seen him play. Needs must, obviously, whether it was a timber knock or he was just given the day off. It was a good performance from him. I think he did what he needed to do, and I think on the ball his distribution was quite good. And KAPE as well, I think was very assured, very aggressive, very mature performance as well on the ball. I think it was nice to see Lewis Skelly get 90 minutes. I think he played well. Thought Forbes wasn't an easy challenge, especially in the first half. But I think in the second half he done well to nullify that, and obviously played well on the ball. I think the midfield three, they played well. They were dynamic. I think all three of them had a good game, especially Zubimendi. Out of the three of them, I think obviously just the way he controlled the game, the way he got into the ball, always had time, made time, and played lovely passes. I think Odegaard, since he's come back from injuries, looked very, very good. I think he's looked aggressive in his passing, looked very comfortable and winning good. Yeah, I know. And obviously, people watch the games of agendas, and I say I try to not watch the games of agendas, and I think you'll see when we get to the striker talk. But like, I think people watch with agendas, so it hurts them when they're watching things because of they can swing one way or the other. But I think when you're just looking at it in practicality, I think him knowing that his position's on the threat with Eze playing well, Eze being a different type of player, Eze same thing, his position on the threat. I think Odegaard comes in and he is a different player, different style of midfielder. He is naturally more of an 8, as we can see, which is why the way the midfield was set up in this game, where it was, sometimes you see Odegaard pop up in the 6, Zubimendi saw for the goal was, high and wide. Marino, is the highest goal scorer out of all those 3 players. He was popping up in high positions as well. They were rotating. It was like that PSG type midfield, and I guess that was the game plan, and it was executed well. Obviously, I call them the Sociedad 3 because obviously they played the season before when Odegaard was on loan there. Obviously, Marino and Zubimendi, whenever they play in the midfield, I'm quite comfortable with them in the midfield because they played together for so many years, both club and country. And then obviously the front 3, obviously Madueke, especially in the first half, I think Martinelli and Gyokeres were quite poor. But I think Madueke was the one shining light, obviously, not just his goal, but his just willingness to want to kind of take on his man, make things happen. Obviously, was unlucky at some points, obviously, didn't make some points, but other points was threatening. And obviously that goal was just amazing, the way he just shoved off the man, drove through 2 players, continued to drive the ball and just smashed it, man. And when it comes off the crossbar like that, it just amazing. The celebration, everything, it was just nice, like, to see. And obviously I'm happy for him, obviously, considering how the fan base reacted when we're gonna sign him, and the whole why he's spending money on him, and Chelsea fans trying to make it seem like he's a dead player, and Arsenal fans not realize that we need this depth and this depth. And in a game where Saka was on the bench and we didn't need to see him play any meaningful minutes, and the guy that and realistically, people are questioning, saying, "Oh, Saka going to play on Saturday? Would you start Noni?" I think Saka starts 100% just to put that narrative out there. But I think it's one of those situations where Saka now has to say, "Oh, okay, when I play now, I need to make sure I bag a goal. I need to make sure I do something a bit." And that's how you get players playing at their maximum minutes. So shout out Noni, obviously the goal as well was good, and then obviously Martinelli, that goal was amazing. It was like second half, it was a contrast. His first half, he literally was taking on his man, being his man, obviously, and then the goal came from a bit of luck from the dribble, but then the finish was just absolutely amazing. And we know Martinelli has that in his locker. It's something that we want to see more. Obviously, yeah, I backed him, but I feel like last season, especially, he wasn't doing this. He wasn't getting shots on. He wasn't getting space. And yeah, we can sometimes criticize the service, and I've been an advocate for saying obviously some players need a certain type of play around them, which is why again we'll get into that. But I think at the same time you still got to make the most of situations as well, be better when you get into certain positions. And I think this season he's been a bit more clinical, and I guess that's what the competition, as you said, does, isn't it? So shout out to those players obviously that played, and obviously the subs that came on.
That goal that Martinelli scored is really a goal he doesn't really score often. Like you said, he normally scores the goal like what we see him score against Atletico when Luis Kelly slipped him in behind and he kind of had that finishing off the post. He's normally known for that trademark finish low down to the corner. Him cutting inside like that, him showing a bit of skill to beat his man and then whipping one to the top corner. That's something I wish Martinelli had more in his game. I hope now that he see one goes through, he has the confidence now he's been scoring goals where he could add that bit to his game, because he's not the trickiest winger. He's not like a Saka, someone that's going to use his body really well and use it to beat a man. He's not a nonny who's going to really get at a man 1v1 every single time. But I still think Martinelli, like you said, with his pace and if the service is there for him in some areas, he can be a threat. But no, adding that ability to get goals for himself now, I think this is hopefully where Martinelli should be kicking on, because you have a guy like Trossard also in that position as well, who can make goals for himself, who can have those long-range strikes. Like you see, he scored a beautiful one against Sunderland, and he could also score those goals in the right place, right time. I think when you're competing for if you're competing for the left wing spot with a guy like Trossard, you're going to have to add to your game, because Trossard brings so much. He's shown that he can bring so much to this team. So Martinelli's going to have to keep elevating. And I think, like you said, man, competition for places is good for this team. Been saying it. Been saying it.
It's very good for this team. And obviously, I think the night was perfect. Like, not saying that the game was perfect or the way he played was perfect, but I think just the fact that there was no new injuries, we're able to rotate. You saw meaningful minutes for, Ranieri. You're able to get, Marley Simon, 16-year-old defender, get his debut for Arsenal, and playing in the Champions League as well as that. Obviously, credit to him, and obviously I guess the injuries has permitted that, but we know how good this player is, and obviously I think he looks comfortable and calm and collected and mature when he played. So big shout out to him, and obviously we saw meaningful minutes and a good cameo from Gabriel Jesus. Before I even get into that, obviously if you're tuning into the live, make sure you're hitting the like button. Obviously, we're not going to continue. If you're in it right now, just hit the like button quickly. Obviously, we'll continue the chat. We appreciate everyone. Obviously, let's show some love. We appreciate everyone that's here. Good evening to you. And obviously, if you're here, drop a comment. Let me know who it is. We hope your day's been good. Thank you for joining us. And obviously, hit the subscribe button if you're new as well. Obviously, Gunner Street and KAPE Pausa. We appreciate the love as always. But yeah, Jesus coming on. And before we touch on Jesus, obviously, Gyokeres started the game. Obviously, it was nice to see him get his first start since he's been back from injury. Was it one of the games where you wanted him to score a goal? He has had some good performance, and obviously, I think he had some decent moments, especially in back to goal. Linking up play. Obviously, way better than it was against Villa.
Yeah.
But I think apart from that, there wasn't really much. And obviously, he played about 60 minutes or so in the game. Obviously, yes, he is coming back from injury, and he did have one of his best games before the injury. But I think overall, it's not been good enough, in my opinion. And he needs to do better. I think obviously he is still a new signing, so always got to be patient. Always have to give him that time. It is a new league, and all of these situations. But I think you can't be making too many excuses for him. That's what I have to say, especially, and I think it gets a bit worse when you see Jesus coming back for his first game in 11, almost 12 months. And obviously we know Jesus is a better player on the ball, or a better footballer than Gyokeres. So it's not really like when you see him play is any surprise, but it's just, the little things like moving into spaces to fashion yourself to get some shots on goal. Yes, the typical, obviously, of Jesus, obviously Bardo, the shot that he hit the crossbar, which was a lovely shot. The other finishes are typical Jesus, where it lacks a bit of power, or is always straight to the keeper or stuff like that. The frustrating side, but at least he's getting those opportunities, getting those openings, and obviously when the ball's getting to his feet, he's moving it quickly, he's linking up well, he's interchanging, and it brings that refreshness and excitement that I think Gyokeres isn't bringing, which is why it's an interesting conversation, because a lot of Arsenal fans obviously backed Gyokeres and obviously wanted Gyokeres because obviously they only really looked at the goal record. Me and you, we've spoken about this for many a year, and it's not like we will not back any Arsenal player, or when Arsenal signed him, we're like, all my days, but we know his limitations and we've always questioned what it may be within this team. And I think obviously it's been shown throughout the season. I think he's had a lot of good moments, and I think he brings a lot to the team, which is why I throw it to you. But I think obviously, as I kind of expected anyway, so I'm not really surprised. I'm not really mad at anything or putting under pressure. It's more, it's a 9 position that 3 players are going to fight for, and they're all 3 different type of profiles where there's going to be games that suit all of them. So, like, what's your thoughts on Gyokeres' performance, and obviously, as well as that, what's your thoughts on Jesus before we kind of get deeper into that striker conversation?
Well, honestly, with Gyokeres, I'm someone that I like Gyokeres. Now, would I have preferred Gyokeres at the start of the transfer window? No, he wasn't my 1 or 2 guy. Probably, arguably, not even my 3 guy. But he was a guy that I thought can come in and give us something that we need. I think most people could see that Arsenal needed some kind of focal point up front. I mean, we did have a profile like that in Havertz. Havertz has shown that he can get goals, but when I was expecting us to get a 9, I wanted a guy that can give you a certain amount of goals. And I know sometimes that could take time. We see other guys around the league haven't hit the high heights as they should. And even guys that have come in and hit high heights, they've either had dips in form or they have been pulled out of the team for whatever reason or another. One thing you said about Gyokeres is he had his best game right before the injury. And I think that's where I kind of feel for him in terms of this conversation, because he came into the team, he struggled. Obviously, it's an adaptation. You have to get used to the team. You have to get used to guys. Also, in that, guys in and around the team are falling in and out the squad along with you. So it's kind of figuring out who can help you out the most, who's going to play, who's going to work best with Gyokeres, and it's trying different things. And I think the biggest part about it has been talking on many a stream about Odegaard not being in the team for Gyokeres. I think that's one of the players that are going to help him get to the level he needs to reach. But even without Odegaard, that's just one player that's going to look for you. You still need to improve your game and develop your game and get better if you want to work in this team. Because like I said, like you even seen this season, Odegaard can't play 90 minutes every game for one player to work in the system. That just can't happen. That's not realistic. So my frustration with Gyokeres is very similar to you. I want to see him add a bit more to his game. I want to see the chance creation add to his game. But that will also be me asking, okay, that's like asking a horse to swim like a fish. Bro, it won't. It can't do the same thing. It literally can't do the same thing. So in one hand, I know I would like Gyokeres to swim like a fish, but I know he's a horse. So I have to kind of have certain expectations. And pause, man, if that's a pause, bro. Come on, don't.
No. I'm not even laughing. I'm just laughing because that's a funny analogy.
Just low me chat. But that's how I feel. So for Gyokeres, there are some frustrating elements. But I think with all the 9s, before we get into them, there's some frustrating element about them. Even Moreno that scores goals, there's some frustrating elements about his game when he plays in the 9 that hurts me. Is Gyokeres the most suited 9 for the system as we've seen for the last 3 years? Probably not. But in terms of what he's given us so far this season, we've even mentioned it with the introduction of him and Zubimendi. Martinelli's scoring more goals. He's being more impactful to his game. We see winger performances on a consistent basis, when last season, just as a metric, some of our winger performances were almost null and void. It was either Saka getting locked up on the wing by triple teams, or when the ball went out to the left-hand side, it was nothing. Like, it was dead movement in there. So no, wing players are starting to get more opened up, starting to get more freedom to do the things they want to do, because Gyokeres is taking up certain positions, doing certain things, bringing others into the game in many different ways. But I would like to see Gyokeres add stuff to his game. Now, is he going to be Gabriel Jesus, where he has those magical flicks, those ball rolls, those flicks over the top? Absolutely not. But again, like you mentioned with Gabriel Jesus, man, I love him. And we know when he's hot, and that's one thing I can say about his Arsenal career. When he's hot, he is probably one of the best strikers in the system. The best. Not only does he give you chance creation, link-up play, back-to-goal play is amazing, but also when he's hot and that ball is hitting the back of the net. We saw 5 goals in a week against Palace. Pre-knee injury, the first time around he was here, 22-23, the goals would not stop coming. The goals and assists were outrageous. But then every time he gets an injury, he has to pick back up steam again. We have to wait on him to get back up to speed. And then once he gets back to speed, back down with another injury. So that's been the frustration for me with Jesus. him consistently scoring goals, and then when he does hit that form, he always seems to get hurt for me. So if this is a turning corner for Jesus, I think no one really takes takes his spot. If Jesus ends up being fit and we were able to get like a full season of Gabriel Jesus, it's hard for me to see any other player that gives us not only entertaining football, but when he's hot, the goal scoring record this guy could go on. Look, I think every game he scored in the Champions League, he's won. I think he didn't score yesterday. That would also add to his record. But every game he scored in the Champions League in his whole career, he's won. Very similar to Trossard. Every game he scored in for Arsenal, bar the Villa game, he's won. So those are players that could get you good goals. And even if they're not starters, they could give you moments. So for me, all our nines have frustrating elements. It's just like you said, man, horses for courses. Which one works in different games? I think this is going to be a big decision for a manager going forward if you have all three of them being able to select.
Obviously, make sure you're hitting the like button. Let's get the streams up to 10 likes on both sides. If you're tuning in with us, we appreciate you. Make sure you smash the like button. Obviously, it really helps the video and the algorithm. So give you a moment just to do that. It takes 2 seconds. And obviously share if you even want to. Let's get involved in the chat. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Smash the like button. Let's get up to 10 likes. And we give you a moment to do that before we continue the conversation about Arsenal strikers. Appreciate all the love. Happy evening. Almost Friday. Almost end of the week. So yes.
I do want to ask you a question, okay, before you move on. What do you specifically want to see Gyokeres add to his game? And like I said, I want to see him add certain stuff to his game, but I'm also kind of resigning to the fact that that's not him, and that's why we have 2 other nines that can give us what we want. So what do you want from Gyokeres, and do you think he can even give us what we want? Or are we searching in dark alleys?
For me, it's not what I'm asking is difficult. It's just more you need to get shots. You can't. Everyone's excuse has been, he hasn't been getting the service, so he hasn't been getting play, people haven't been finding his runs. And there are probably runs that he hasn't been getting found with, and I'm not blaming him for that. Every striker goes through that. But it's like you're not the frustration of not getting shots should make you take the ball, sometimes drop a shoulder, move past a player, take a shot. Like get into a position where you're demanding the ball. You're not gonna bounce past it, and you're gonna find a way to make a shot. Obviously, I'm not saying you're gonna shoot it to people, but you're gonna find a way to do it. And obviously, when the ball's wide, you're gonna try and make it. I was looking at that Madueke second goal, and you can see him quite flat-footed in the box, which is why I say the criticism is better box movement, like Havertz, Jesus, even
look at the Brentford goal Marino scored.
Marino, they all have good box movement. They have good anticipation, and they have good aerial connection, and they're good in the air with the headers and stuff like that. And Havertz, this is why he misses a lot of chances, because he gets those chances, and obviously his finishing isn't the greatest, but he's able to get into those positions because his movement is good. So it's like both. There's times where he's anticipating balls going to go, and there's times where people are picking him out because he's making good runs. Gyokeres needs to do that. I'm not even asking for him to do Gabriel Jesus things or Havertz things or Marino things. I just want him to get in front of his man when the ball's someone's out wide and near post, or make some good movement where you find yourself free to get a header or get yourself some shots, even if it's a long range shot. Like you do it and take the frustration of it, saying him to give me the ball, because end of the day, let's be real, most Arsenal fans and even me, I would even get told that his goal record is undeniable, but I don't feel like a lot of people really watched him to really think about how this player would fit in our system and is he the best player. And obviously I'm not I don't anticipate him being the Haaland type level striker. Obviously I would want him to be that, and he might still be that, and there's a lot of time to, and obviously he is still new, so he's still going to adapt, and he can still, I think one slight I'll give on him is obviously he didn't have a great pre-season, and obviously there was no striker depth. Havertz got injured after the first game, and he has to kind of play every game from the beginning, adapt to Arsenal's tough system in a team that's going for the league, and obviously all the eyes and pressure on him, and he's still kind of adapting to the physicality based on the fact he didn't have a pre-season, and there's no ability for him to rotate and come out the limelight. Obviously he's brought a lot to the team in terms of his movement and his ability to stretch the pitch. Obviously said it helps the wingers, and I don't think it's any coincidence that majority of games that he played, Arsenal have won. And obviously there's been games Marino's played and Arsenal have drawn. Obviously the space has been clogged up, and obviously we haven't seen, I guess, the other two strikers that are, or players that can play that are in contention. But I think with all of them, they have their flaws, innit? Jesus, as you said yesterday, shows some of his flaws as well. Havertz will show his flaws when he comes back. But I think Gyokeres' performances has helped the stock of Kai Havertz, that you kind of now miss these players and want to see them and you're craving them, because it's not like he's obviously even though, as I said, innit, like he's not had the depth to rotate and help him rest and have that competition to drive him, which he's gonna have now. But he's had a free run at the position. Like, it's like if Havertz was not injured and Gyokeres was injured, and it's like Havertz was the only striker, you have a free run to make that position. You're same with Jesus, same with whoever. So I guess there's pressure in that, but there's an expectation. Obviously, he came in and people feel like he was the final piece. And obviously, that's why I said, and I always said at the time, when Arsenal spent the amount of money they spent on Gyokeres, which was about 55 million plus add-ons, I was like, that's not the final piece type of striker. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of that's the end or be all. But if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you have other options that you can use. And we haven't been able to see those options. But I think at the same time, I don't think everyone, like in a game like yesterday, I don't think he needs to be fixated on, because at the end of the day, the team played so well. There were so many other good performances, good moments from the game. I think this was just an epitome of Arsenal fans or opposition fans kind of trying to find something, and Arsenal fans fall into the trap of us, speaking about it. And I even include myself. But I think just moving forward, like if you're just looking off merit, like you just want to see where, like the second half with when Ranieri was there, when Odegaard was playing Ben White, it just looked a bit more like 22-23 at moments where the ball was just moving. So we got to see that front three of Saka, Martinelli, Jesus. Like I've been talking about, really wanted to see Eze and Jesus play. Obviously, Havertz is rumoured to be coming back before Christmas. Obviously, I don't know if he will. I haven't seen him train. Obviously, Christmas is in 2 weeks' time. But let's just say he is. Obviously, that's another, competition for Gyokeres. And obviously, moving on to Wolves, I expect him to start still, because I don't think Jesus is in any not ready to start games yet, probably in terms of his fitness and his level. But Jesus, in terms of who probably earned the start more, but Jesus probably through his minutes. Like if he was fit enough to start, I would probably start him. But I think there's big pressure on Gyokeres now to get some goals, because these are the kind of games against less opposition that you want him to get the goals, and not stat pad, but if I'm getting stats up, get confidence up. And obviously, one game he's failed. This is a big game for him, because I think Jesus looks like a hungry player, looks very sharp, and he's not really match fit and there yet. So when he does get fit, and if he's able to stay fit, which is the big question, like they all can have their say, which is a good thing for Arsenal. But I think
and we know the guys in the squad like Jesus as well. But I'll say this about Gyokeres, and I was just sitting on thinking about it when we were talking, bro. It reminded me of the guy we're also talking about. The third piece to this puzzle is Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz scored the first goal. He scored from the penalty spot against Bournemouth when he first came in. And then he didn't score another open play goal, or didn't score another goal for Arsenal until Brentford, I think it was in late November. So he went on a stretch for that first half of the season where we were calling him to question. I even said at moments in my head, I was like, I don't know. But again, he picked up his form at the second half of that season, and he turned out to be a very, very vital player. Maybe he got accustomed to the team. Maybe he found some form. Maybe there was just the manager's continuous faith in him that just upticked his form. Similar thing can happen to Gyokeres, like you mentioned. Like still very early for his Arsenal career. If Gyokeres has the start to the season he's had so far this season, and then he bangs in the second half of the season and we go on to win the league, he will be remembered totally different to the conversation we're going to have here today. But that's just how football works. You don't just get there by waking up and just getting there. Havertz didn't just wake up and get to a point where you see reports coming out now about he might be first choice striker. He didn't just wake up and do that. He had to put in work. He was our top scorer for the last 2 seasons, and he's got important goals and assists for this squad. Whether people like it or not, he has stepped up in those moments. Same thing with Moreno. Whether you like it or not, these players are stepping up when asked the job to do, and they're doing it. So the point is, like I said, going back to Gyokeres, this team has shown, I wouldn't say this team has shown that they can win trophies without you, but this team has shown that they can get close to winning them, and they can win big games without you. So whether you're the final piece or not, you have to come in and you're going to have a duty on you to score goals, whether you're this kind of 9 or you're not. So I agree with you 100%, KP. The same pressure that was put on Kai Havertz back in 23-24 when he came in and he wasn't hitting the back of the net, the same pressure I think is fair to ask of a guy like Victor Gyokeres. And I get it. He likes the club. He took a pay cut. We got him on a really good deal. But he was sold to the media. He was sold to everybody as this ready-made striker. And a lot of passes are given to him that are not given to players that came before him in that same role. Not even Jesus. People are even giving the same grace to a man like Jesus, because shown not only can he score goals, but he's also an all-round great footballer. So that's the difficulty for me. The pressure has to be there on a player like Gyokeres. If you're not putting the pressure on Gyokeres, whether you're positive or negative or whatever you want to call it, I think you have to call it down the middle and be fair. Some pressure has to go on Gyokeres. Similar to what happened with Kai Havertz, similar to what happened with gabrieljesus. Do I think he can do it? Absolutely. Because so far, like you said, this team has shown that they can win games with him in the squad starting up front as a 9. And it's no surprise that we've seen some good winger performances with him in the team. But he has to go and do it. He has to elevate his game. He can't just turn up and think playing the style of play he was playing 24-25 for Sporting is going to come and get him most goals in the Prem and come. It's not going to happen, especially with the guy and the system like Arteta. He's going to say, bro, I got close to winning trophies without you. Really and truly, I didn't even want you as my striker. So why should I bend my whole team to fit you? That's not going to happen. You have to elevate different elements of your game. You have to bring different parts of your game, bro. Come on. Is that a pause? Am I missing something, bro? I see you do that. Come on. Come on, man. Low me chat. But look, you can't come in and expect the team to revolve around you. It's like the world. The world's not going to revolve around you. You have to adapt to some elements. You have to give your contribution to the cause. And ultimately, I think once the ball starts hitting the back of the net more often for Gyokeres, like you said, he has to get more shots off, though. You don't score unless you shoot, or unless you get chances at goal. So once he starts seeing the ball go in, once he starts creating some chances for himself, and once he starts getting shots off, I think the goals will start coming, and I think that's when you're going to start to see the best of it to Gyokeres.
Yeah, I think that's just what it is, man. It's just that's why I hope the competition increases, the pressure increases, his quality increases, his ability to take the chance. Because I think, like, if he does, especially if he doesn't get the goals or has a great performance against Wolves, I think, obviously, especially if Kai Havertz is coming back, I think there's a lot of opportunity for Mikel to use, most of Jesus and Havertz, Gyokeres, in rotation, and then it might become about who then takes the opportunity to again become that number one preference, and which is just something that we want and love, and obviously hopefully bring the best out of each of them. But Gyokeres has had the most opportunities out of these players so far this season, because he's played the first quarter or third of the season. So I think that's where the disappointment comes. And obviously with a lot of the Arsenal fans, especially majority of the Mikel Arteta outers, are the ones that wanted Gyokeres, because obviously everyone knows Mikel probably wanted Sesko more than he wanted Gyokeres. Obviously, we were on that camp as well, even obviously Isak was probably number one. But he's our player and I support him, and I'm not going to give up on him, and I'm not going to be harsh in his first season where he's come. This is a pressure season for us. We've been very, very good. He's been part of that, and you can't discredit that as well. He's had good moments as well, and I think he has a lot to give and still another level to reach. But I think at the same time, a lot of people are giving a lot of excuses to some of the performances he's having, and a lot of it come down to, we're not, every time at the end, we're not giving him the ball, But these are the same people that will criticize Kai Havertz for doing everything else outside the box and linking up and helping the play and not scoring, or scoring just 1 out of 5, or Jesus the same thing, where he's I think when fit, he is the best striker naturally for the system and this team, and the most excitable player in the team. And I think that's both a credit to him, but a discredit on some of our recruitment. The fact that 4 or 5 years later, it's still gabrieljesus who after injuries, the best player, or one of the most favourable options in terms of how the team looks and the dynamics and stuff. So, but obviously we'll see what the club does in the future. But for now, I think there's a lot that all these players have to offer and what they have to bring. And I think the pressure now that's now in Gyokeres' position, the same way, talking about Saka, Madueke, Martinelli, Trossard, Eze, Odegaard, I think will help, especially Gyokeres, especially him being a new boy, and these other players having the relationships with players.
I want to ask you a question, though, KP, because I can't remember what stream we were doing, but we were having a stream, bro. You said you can see a world where Gyokeres and Havertz play together in the system. what would that system look like on paper, and what would have to be the other personnel around that team for it to work? Because I'm trying to imagine, do you play like two? Do you go 4-4-2? Do you keep the
Yeah,
same
I
system?
think it's just. I think Kai Havertz has played in the midfield many a time. Like
Yeah,
he can play there. He offers he knows the off the ball game. I think alongside the Declan Rice, alongside the Odegaard, you can put Kai Havertz in that similar role, that left
left eight.
eight, but more time he's going up as a second striker, and he can do the guy that you fire the ball into, and Gyokeres can kind of make that space for Havertz, and Havertz can kind of float around in between that second striker role, which I think will be very, very good for him, picking up those pockets, in and around the box, being in another body and threat, from crosses from wide, and just linking up play. I think we saw that a lot when 22-23 season, 24 season, when Jesus and Havertz played a lot. I'm not saying that they'll play it similar to Gyokeres and Havertz, but I think you can see that where it can happen, or Trossard and Havertz in the same way. I think when Trossard was playing in the false nine. So I think it's one of those situations where I think Havertz picks up good spaces. He's an intelligent player, makes good runs. So I think can link up play as well. Obviously, Gyokeres that can hold up the ball and receive it. Trossard running, Havertz running past him and stuff like that can be done well. But I think more time with all the players available, I think we'll see a lot of rotation within the players in their natural positions. Really, I just hope that this just enables him to step up, and I think it will. But I think having the optionality is good, because then there's not the pressure on just one player if it's not working. Shout out AFC always. Obviously, big you up, man. Hope you're having a good evening. Obviously, make sure you're hitting the like button, everyone. If you're on the stream and you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. And make sure you're subscribing to Gunner Street if you're tuning in from KAPE Pause and you haven't already. And make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Obviously, links will be in the descriptions of both streams. So we appreciate that. Just before we move on to the Wolves game, a couple of obviously Nwaneri came on. I think his camera was quite good. It looked sharp, looked good. Obviously, he was unlucky to not score.
A great save from his shot.
Made a very, very good
save. That was
very, very good save. That even came from some Gabriel Jesus jinky as well, which was nice. But obviously, just linking up well, being in the pockets, look lively. Obviously, he's a good player. He needs more minutes. He's one player that I think obviously is tough. Obviously, in his position, there's a lot of depth, and we played a lot of big games. I hope he gets a lot more minutes now. I think he will see the Carabao Cup games coming on. The Wolves game on the weekends, another opportunity. But what was your thoughts on Ethan as well? Just to
man, bright as usual. I was clamoring for Ethan to start. I wish he did get some minutes from the start, but at the end of the day, his time is going to come. Very similar to Miles Lewis-Skelly. Everybody was saying, when is Lewis-Skelly going to get his minutes? When is Nwaneri going to get his minutes? There's still guys that are young, and there's competition for that 10 spot. Odegaard is coming back, and Eze is coming back, and those are two of your most senior players in the team. You're going to have to get those guys in some way, somehow. So my thing for Ethan is, and it's always been this season, when you come in, bro, take your chances, do what you can do. If the Carabao Cup minutes is where you're going to step up, we've already seen against Brighton, he scored a wonderful take and finish. He got some goals, got some assists, and he did it last season in the Carabao Cup. So whenever you get your minutes, bro, just give the manager something to think about, whether that's off the right or whether that's through central spaces. So again, Ethan was bright yesterday. Like I said, had a great shot from outstanding save from the goalkeeper. That should have been another goal in very, very limited minutes for Ethan. But bro, I just want to see him continue to play with that level of enthusiasm that he came through the team with. That's another thing I want these young players, not even just Ethan, but with Lewis-Skelly and with Dolman when he comes through. These guys came through with the excitement and promise that we all like. They have that bit of it factor about them. They have just some special qualities that you just see and you say, you know what? I see something with that guy. Whether it's Miles Lewis-Skelly and the ball carrying, he's always able to shield the ball. Dolman in his dribbling. Nwaneri is not only his dribbling, his composure and on the ball, but his shooting ability is great. He's able to curl it off that left foot. He's brilliant. So I just want to see Ethan continue to add to his game, but don't lose what got you to the first team, bro. So as long as he continues to do that, continues to add to his game, I'm happy with Ethan, man. Just continue to do your thing, bro.
Yeah, man. I think he's a great player. His time will come. I think obviously we have to give him more minutes, though. I think Mikel has to find some way to give him more minutes, because you have to keep players like that happy and developing as well. But I think it's good to see he's sharp and ready and playing for the cause, and ready to when he is called upon to play well. He offers all these players offer something different to each other. I don't think there's any one player that's the same, even if they are similar, which is a good thing, obviously, and it brings that optionality. I think we're just not being able to see it so often, just because of the fact of the matter that it's been obviously the injuries that's happened so often. So there's been that, and I'm just happy. Yeah, we got another clean sheet. I think David Raya played very well, made some great saves. Obviously, his
Standing
distribution
saves
was good.
too,
Went underrated as well,
yeah.
especially in that first half. And obviously, just shout him out again just briefly because he's got he's a safety net. So I think
you have to give a man like Raya credit because he's good for 3 big saves every game. Like he's gonna keep if you're up 1-0, he's gonna keep you in even against Villa. We were down 1-0. We conceded some chances that I thought we were gonna go down by more. He kept us in that game to get us back into the game ultimately. So sad we didn't not to harp on the Villa game, I harp on that result, but every game this season, Raya is good for at least one magical save. So big up Raya. He's had another good season so far, and another clean sheet, another Golden Glove award coming soon. I can assure you.
Yeah, hopefully
This
so,
season.
man. Obviously, he's quality, man. So we're lucky to have him, and hopefully he continues. We're good in the Champions League this year. Obviously, you've had some tough games, and it's not easy to go away and just make with your B team rotated squad and make it so comfortable like that and scoreline wise, and you know able to give some players minutes and give a lot of players rest. Obviously, no Timber, no Rice. Obviously, Saliba wasn't able to travel. Saka was on the bench. Eze didn't have to come on in the game, so that's obviously good news. So we'll see. Obviously, AFC always says certain Arsenal fans have already had enough of Gyokeres. How come people have much higher standards when it comes to Gyokeres than they have for Arteta and Havertz? Whatever happened to giving him time? I think the balanced fans are the ones that are maybe even in their criticism of Gyokeres will still say obviously they're giving him time and they're being patient and they want to see him doing well and they see what he offers, even if they don't think he's the him or the end piece or the final piece of the puzzle forever, but I think it's more the agenda-ridden fans that have kind of the ones that kind of blindly just put their eggs in the basket of Gyokeres just because they saw the goals and they saw the celly and they didn't really think about the fit and the player and his limitations and the league translation in terms of quality and all these aspects. And obviously, I think that's why there's a lot of just harshness to him in it. I think like even me and Steph will say we're quite balanced, so we can criticize, but we also can give that perspective. I think that's just what it is. I think it's the same way when Havertz was signed, and I was saying that he wasn't playing his natural position at the time, but also said he will come good. I think you have to give some of these, you criticize, but you also have to give some of these players some perspective. You give them some praise, you give them some backing, and give them some belief as well.
But also, what I'll say to this is there's another. I slightly mentioned it, but there's another reality to this AFC always is. What people can't escape it. This type of new fandom, this type of new way people follow football is some people have their favorite players that they're gonna lean on. If a guy likes Havertz and he feels that the big majority of the Arsenal fan base didn't give Havertz enough leeway, when a guy like Gyokeres is gonna come in and take the same position as Havertz, he's gonna put the same pressure Havertz was getting on Gyokeres. That's what I was just saying. So it's gonna go both ways. Like KP said, the balanced fans are the ones I think people should really start looking at now as kind of like not the answer, but I think that's how people should start viewing overall football. I think that's how people should start viewing this team in particular, because not everything is A, B, C. Everything is not linear. Sometimes Gyokeres might be a good fit against some games. Havertz might be another better fit. And I think both guys need time to adjust to certain games. And again, like Moreno was good against Brentford, good in other games where we needed him, but the Aston Villa game didn't suit him. That's why he was hooked at halftime. So it goes either way. And that doesn't mean you hate Moreno, but that just means sometimes the game or sometimes certain moments are not suited for certain players or certain play styles. So I think it just goes back to fandom. I hope people are viewing the game and also fit in the team. So if you feel like people aren't giving him grace, you focus on you, bro, and you give him your grace, bro. Because ultimately, that's how you're really supposed to judge it. Give the guys time, let him out. Hopefully, he adapts. Because it's not just sitting here blindly talking about give him time. He has to do his part. Similar to what I think Havertz did. He did his part. He bided his time, and ultimately, he was our top scorer for 2 seasons. So ultimately, let's just see if Gyokeres could turn this ship around. And also with Havertz, like I said, he didn't score until late November in the season. He really get his first real goals until late November. He then turns out to be top scorer in that team, top scorer in the next team after. So he has to just kick on from here. Gyokeres just has to get goals in his system, and that's just gonna do him the world of good. Whether how they go in, the Atletico goal winning off his thigh to 1 yard out, goal just has to go in. They just have to go.
That's what's it, man. Obviously, 11 people in the chat right now. Make sure you're hitting the like button. If you haven't already, give you a moment just to smash the like button. Obviously, make sure you do it. Really helps the live for the algorithm, helps the live for, you know, getting out there as well. And we appreciate the love as well. So appreciate everyone tuning in. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate you. Let me know who you are. Welcome to the family, both to Gunner Street and give us pause. Obviously, moving on. AFC always also says Gyokeres needs to be around the 18-yard box, but also don't want him to wait for the ball to come. Don't wait for the ball to come to you. You got to go to the ball first. Yeah, that's just what I'm saying. His box movement has got to be better. If he's anticipating where the ball's going to drop and making some, you know, deadly kind of good movements in the run around the box, players can kind of pick him out in it. I think if he's kind of being stationary and on his toes or on his back feet too much, then I think that's when he's going to miss, you know, opportunities to kind of get tap-ins. Like yesterday, he could have been the one finishing that nonny chance, and he could have had an easy goal there, and no criticism there. But that's just life. AFC always also says Raya kept the most clean sheets as a keeper in the last 10 years in the UCL, which is crazy still. Mad stat if that's obviously true. I'm not going to say it's not, but I respect Raya, and obviously he does get a lot of clean sheets. So that big Raya, obviously. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, guys. Obviously, and I'm continuing to bang it on, but make sure you are if you haven't already. And I'm sorry if I continue to tell you, but make sure you do it. It takes 2 seconds and doesn't hurt at all. So make sure you are doing that. We appreciate. Again, AFC always says Gyokeres needs to score a hat-trick against Wolves. Never mind the goal. Obviously, Wolves, I know that's what you meant. Just transitioning on to Wolves. 8 p.m. kickoff. Watch along for that. We're doing that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, make sure you guys tune into that. It'll be a lively one, evening kickoff as well. But yeah, Wolves on Saturday, obviously bottom of the league team, home game right after loss to Villa. Obviously a game that we need to be winning. A game that I expect us to win, and a game that I expect us to even be able to rotate. Well, could rotate and win, but I think given the magnitude of the game, given the fact that we're only 2 points above City, we play before them. Obviously, any drop points can give them a potential opportunity to go above us, you know, going into next weekend. And there's no game this midweek coming up, so it's a week break after this. I think I would go as strong as possible, because I feel like you need to get the points. Obviously, you rotate if players are still injured or potentially a risk. Obviously, you don't play them, but I think as strong as you can, I think you go in that game and you try to win the game, and then try and kill off the Wolves, obviously, who have been poor, and hopefully don't try and show up and have a game of their lives against Arsenal, which I can expect them to all of a sudden, you know, making great passes. And obviously they've been unlucky. I think they played some good football at times, but all of a sudden they'll be getting the chances, and all of a sudden their strikers will be able to finish some of their goals. Obviously, hopefully that's not the case, but hopefully we're able to kind of put that game to bed early and then make some changes, give some minutes to players and alleviate some of the players playing, keep them fresh for Everton. But just to say, obviously, I think obviously, as you know, Ryle starting goal. I think Timber was probably rested. Mikel said something about not, but I don't know about that. I think Timber's probably rested or not risked for this game. I have a feeling Saliba will be back for this game. I know Mikel's been saying days, and obviously a lot of games been passing. But I think if Saliba's back, we need him back. I think if starting, but obviously if he's not back, obviously continue with the White and Timber back right hand side, and obviously I think KAPE keeps his spot. Calafuri comes back in. I think Rice will come back in as well. Said it was ill, so I expect him to kind of shake that off by the weekend. And I think you can. Like, what would your midfield three be? What would you go midfield three that you'll go with in this game?
Well, he rested Rice for this particular reason, so you know Rice is going to start with whichever position. How would I line up? Is Zubimendi available, or did he pick up too many cards?
Yeah, Zubimendi is available. So Calafuri can't play because Calafuri.
That's
Lewis Kelly.
I know Zubimendi is pretty close. So okay, I still put Zubimendi, and I'd probably go. I'm thinking if I should put Odegaard in the midfield, or if I'm thinking I should put Eze in the midfield, and then that kind of dictates how I would go on the left.
I personally would go Rice, Eze, and Odegaard
You probably go Rice, Eze, Odegaard.
I think Zubimendi played 90 minutes. It's Club Brugge.
I hear that.
Rice didn't get to play. Eze didn't play no minutes. I think it's Wolves at home. You can go a bit more attacking in the midfield. Obviously, we're talking about rotation and giving fair minutes. I think letting Marino and Zubimendi have a bit of a rest will be good. That's what I go with, just to see that Rice Odegaard midfield again.
From my perspective, I do want to see that, because I've been saying and banging on about it since Odegaard's been back fit. I do want to see them both play together. I've never thought about the idea of it being both necessarily in the midfield, just because I've seen how Zubimendi and Rice have been building that partnership and how defensively solid it's been. But it's bottom of the league Wolves. Like you said, Zubimendi played 90 minutes. If there's ever a game where you could just try it to see how it works, it's definitely a game like this. So I have to probably agree with you, bro. I think you with that argument, you've kind of won me over. I'll probably lean with the same midfield. Go Eze, Odegaard, and I'll go Rice. I think that midfield.
Yeah, man. I think you put Rice in the 6, let him, have the reins, and you let Odegaard, play a bit deeper behind. Eze, seeing the way Odegaard is playing, and playing some line breakers and some passes into those spaces. If Eze is the one receiving the ball back foot.
Maybe expecting some liquid football though. I'm expecting liquid football though. If I see that midfield, man. So
that will be interesting to see if Mikel does that. Obviously, make sure you're hitting the like button again, guys. Appreciate all the love. Smash the like button. And yes, and the front three. What would you go with? I'll go with Saka, Gyokeres, and I'll go with Martinelli. I think obviously Madueke, huge shout to play, but obviously I do want to see him and Saka kind of get some rotation, and I think I want to see Martinelli off the left just to keep that balance. What would you go with?
I'd probably be leaning the same thing, even though I don't know if you want to get into this comment right here by AFC Always, but AFC Always says, why not play Saka left wing, Madueke right wing? I would probably lean Madueke maybe left wing, and then you alternate them throughout the game. I think that will also be a very good, interesting thing to see. We have seen Saka drift out to the left-hand side. We've seen Madueke already play on the left wing so far this season. I'm gonna probably have to agree with you again, bro. You can't drop Martinelli, who's again been scoring and been good in good form. And I think he's, like I said, I wanted to see him add that bit of quality to his game. That goal he scored against Brugge is what I want to see Martinelli add. Being able to beat a man and be decisive in the final third, not only in your shooting but your crossing. I want to see more of that from Martinelli, and I think he has been doing it. So I give Martinelli credit, and I think he deserves it. I think he deserves a start. But it's hard after you score a brace to sit on the bench. But that's football, man. You're playing behind the star man, so star man has to come in and do his thing. So he's expecting another good performance again.
Yeah, it's hard still, and if Madueke does start left wing, which you probably Mikel probably would go with that, given that he played the brace, got the man of the match. You're gonna want to kind of keep him in the lineup, keep that confidence, even if it means having to switch it. But I think that would suit more if that Jesus was up front and he can kind of have a more liquid front three where they're moving around. Obviously, at the same time with the space, maybe Gyokeres does kind of generate that, can maybe give Madueke a bit more room and space as well, to maybe kind of go up. And obviously with Lewis Kelly, maybe probably invert him, or maybe he can stay wider and Lewis Kelly gets a bit more joy in that inside space playing. If Madueke plays,
think of it, bro. Know that Lewis Kelly is playing for sure because Calafiori is missing the game. I'm gonna lean Martinelli because I think we talked about it privately. We talked about it off camera. We have some good partnerships starting to build in this team, and I think that's what's gonna ultimately take the team forward. Certain guys are playing good when certain guys in the team. That's why I asked you about the Havertz Gyokeres pairing, because I wanted to know how you could see ultimately all the pieces around it working. Martinelli and Lewis Kelly, again, when they play together, Martinelli scores more goals. He scored another one yesterday. So, wow, I can't see how if you're playing Lewis Kelly and you have been playing that Martinelli partnership and it's been bearing fruit so far, where you'd probably go away from it unless you necessarily have to. But if Lewis Kelly is going to play and Martinelli is available and he's fit to play, I'm probably going to lean Martinelli. So that's my decision. I'd probably go Martinelli, Gyokeres, Saka as the front three. That's how I'll probably line up.
That's what I'm going to line up with. Obviously, I'm going to go with that as well. But I think Madueke is a good shout to start. Absolutely. And if he was to start and Mikel was to go over, I'm not going to be mad at it at all. But I do expect Saka to come back into the team. And I think even to keep Madueke still hungry on his toes, like you don't start him, you keep him hungry, push for Everton, and maybe against Palace, he gets that start and it continues again, and makes it difficult for Saka, especially if Saka doesn't, well, he will light up water, so I do expect that. But that's what you need ultimately. And then on the bench you have obviously Jesus, you have Wanyeri, Marino, Zubimendi. Obviously you're having KAPE, so maybe Sam might make the bench again. Obviously I know Dama's injured, so see what academy player kind of comes in as well. And also I will also argue this: if Trossard is fit and able to make the game, I do think Trossard does start over Martinelli inside, just based on just the way he's played this season and just his even last week he's coming on.
My question with Trossard is: did the manager pull him off against Villa because he was injured again, or did he pull him off because he was restricted minutes? Because I've been hearing two different arguments.
He said that he was restricted minutes anyways, but he also came off with some of the feeling that injury that he had just come back from. So I think it's where they didn't take him to Brugge just for precaution and just to rest it. But obviously, who knows if he'll be available for Wolves? But if he is available and can play, obviously he may start. But if he isn't, if you don't want to risk him again, I think you do keep him on the bench and you kind of start Martinelli. So yeah, that will be that. Just to go into some comments from FC Always, he says obviously, yeah, the comment about why not play Saka left wing and Madueke right wing against Wolves, and he said today marks 139 years of Arsenal Football Club. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
The GOAT Football Club, man. Obviously, big. That's a big stat still, to be fair. So, well done, AC Always, for pulling that out, man. Obviously, make sure you're hitting the like button, guys, if you're tuning in. Appreciate you, everyone that's in the stream. Make sure you smash the like button down below if you haven't already. Appreciate you tuning in. What would be your score predictions for Saturday, bro?
If I had to pick a score, I'm probably gonna go with 3-0. I'm going 4-0. I'm gonna go 4-0. Now, before a man get on my head and tell me, bro, you're showing too much chest, bro. You don't wanna do this. I say 4-0 because I think a lot of the guys that we picked to have in this team have a point to prove. Like for example, a guy like Saka. Saka's off the back of, he's had some difficult performances, but he's also been getting goals and assists. It's time for him now to turn on the burners and say, okay, Madueke has got 2 goals, scored a banger. Let me show you why I'm star man. Let me show you why I have the captain's armband. Let me show you why I'm the highest earner at the club. Let me show you who I am. So I think expecting Saka to have a good game. Gyokeres has a lot to prove in this game as well. He's going to need a goal for his confidence. And then you have Martinelli, who's in form. You have other guys in and around the team. If you play Eze and Odegaard together, do you get the liquid football? I'm saying 4-0, man. We're top of the league. We're the second best team in terms of the form on the table, even though we lost to Villa, that we would have been top. But I have to hold my hand up. 1 loss in however many games, 19 games. I'm leaning on the team, man. 4-0. Big up, bottom of the league. Let's go 4-0.
Yeah, I think I'm copying you, but I'll go 4-0 as well. I think we're gonna see a good performance from Arsenal again. Opportunity for us to kind of get the goal difference up, and with all due respect to Wolves, and I think we can get a lot of goals if we be confident. I do hope for Gyokeres to get a goal or 2, have a good performance, and kind of take on this pressure and just take on some of the the talk and just understanding. Obviously, now that players are back available, that is to step up, and obviously hope Saka as well, same thing for him to take it to Club Martinelli to continue his opportunity, knowing that Trossard's sneaking around, and Eze, if he does get a start, whether it's on the left or in the midfield, to take his opportunity again. Obviously, he's been a bit quiet last couple of games, so I think want him to kind of have a great game and get that confidence back, obviously, and with some tough games coming out of the way. I think it's an opportunity for us to kind of potentially go on a run, build some momentum, get some wins in a row, obviously. And I don't think the guys in and around us, Villa and City, have the easiest games coming up. Obviously, they have a lot of away games. AFC always says 5-0 prediction, which obviously will be amazing. And he also has a question.
City have to go to Palace. I was just looking at it. City have to go to Palace. So that
City have to go to Palace. Obviously, they got Sunderland away soon. They got some tough games. Villa got some tough games that have to come to us as well, which I think we will get our revenge against Villa. We face them before New Year's. So, yeah, man, I think the table doesn't reflect how it's been this season. As you said, we just lost our second game in all comps and the second game in the Prem. We've been 3 months later and somehow we're only 2 points above a team that's lost games in and around. But that's just football. There's only been 15 games played. I think obviously after about 25 games, you see a bit more reflection if the form continues, which obviously we hope so. Obviously City are in good form. Obviously they did beat Real Madrid yesterday. I didn't watch the game, obviously watching the Arsenal game, but I heard that they were good. I think Cherki played well. I think obviously Real Madrid, couldn't finish their chances, but City have reached some form right now. Obviously, they're playing well. A lot of players are performing. Cherki, Nico Gonzalez, obviously Doku's looking really, really mature and reformed, and obviously Haaland is Haaland. So you've got to be wary of them. But obviously Palace away won't be easy for City. So hopefully it's a tough game, and hopefully we make it even tougher by getting those 3 points and completely smashing Wolves. Really, that's what I need. And then hopefully we see some more Gabriel Jesus minutes. And I really want to just see that
Gabriel Jesus to bag off the bench. Is that your show?
You should have bagged on Wednesday. So all right off. But
I hear it. I hear it.
Question from AFC always says, would you start Kepa for the last 2 games of the Champions League before the last 16 knockout rounds? Yeah, I would have started Kepa yesterday if Mikel would have went with him. And I think given that we've all but qualified for the knockouts, obviously I know if we win one more game, I think we secure top space.
Yeah.
So, which means that we have 2 games to do that, and one of the games at home against Correa or however you say it, which, with all due respect, Arsenal should be dealing them even if a rotated squad. So I would start, especially in those games, I would rotate some of the players, and Kepa will be one of them because I think you can give some rest, even though we do go to San Siro as well. What about you? Would you start Kepa or would you still go Raya?
Yeah, and I don't mind it. And I think one thing we've seen from Kepa so far in the limited minutes he's got in the season, he's not like Neto from last season. Like he's not gonna come in and try to save a shot.
No, this guy's drunk, man.
Yo, Neto is drunk, bro. Neto is scenes. Kepa is a capable keeper. I'm not worried about Kepa, especially in the Inter game. Inter game is probably the biggest one we'd probably have concerns about. But again, we're all but through. So it doesn't matter for me. I would say, like, I think I'm comfortable with either Neto or Raya in the last 2 Champions League games, so I don't mind it.
Yeah, like I think it's not really a problem. If Mikel will do it, we'll see. Obviously, FA Cup games are in and around those games as well. But
unless he might just play Raya to get records, unless it's like that kind of thing.
He might do that. But I think it will be a good game. And maybe the correct game, definitely Kepa will probably start that one. Yeah. But we'll see against Inter if Raya starts. But I don't know, and I don't think that will be the case. AFC always says Arsenal versus Palace in the Carabao Cup is live on ITV. Obviously, that's a UK channel. So, yeah, I'm happy about that, man. Obviously, I haven't watched that in a long time. So, hopefully, that'll be a good game to watch. Some good punditry on that. I think that's the week after next. So, hopefully, probably see some rotation in that game. But hopefully, we do have a big game in that game as well. And we go through to the semi-finals and hopefully get a good draw. But whoever we get, ready for them in that competition, man. Shout out Waffle Done, obviously. Hope you're doing well, bro. I know you just jumped off stream. Make sure you are subscribing to his channel. Obviously, me and him have our weekly Cape and Don show. And obviously, we've been doing the watch alongs together. Don't know if we're going to be doing one this weekend, but make sure you're subscribing to his channel. Amazing streams as well. Amazing guy as well. So please go and do that, and make sure you're hitting the like button, as he said as well. Make sure you're smashing up the likes on the stream. Let's get the likes up, people. A lot of people watching, so let's get the likes up. We appreciate everyone here. As he always says, if I'm honest, I don't care if we win 1-0 or 2-1. It's all about getting the 3 points. Yeah, man. I'm always gonna say that at the end of the day. The 3 points is all that matters, man. Like, obviously, you want to see a great performance, and we expect us to. This is an opportunity for us to get some goals and get some good, attacking football. But
I want to say this, though, KP. I want to say this because there's certain games where you could say the 3 points is the only thing that matters, and the 3 points ultimately do matter in this game. If you don't want to play good football and lose it, or play good football and draw it, because you can't do that in football. But I think this is also a game where you want to leave as little doubt as possible. I think this is one game where we predicted 4-0, bro. Like, unless the Wolves come out and show like crazy fight and they put up a good game and it's an even back and forth game or we make changes or something like that, then okay, you could kind of give it based on the context. But if we have a poor performance and we still only win like 1-0, Wolves are poor, we're poor, it's a bad game, it's a 1-0, it's an evening kickoff, like you kind of be a little bit disappointed, I'd say. So I do want to see goals, I do want to see a good performance, and yes, the 3 points ultimately matter most. But I think this is a game where we talked about it. You want to see Eze and Odegaard play in the midfield. You want to see us try some stuff. You want to see liquid football. And again, you want to see goals. So I do say 3 points are the ultimate goal, but I say a performance follows up in a game like this just as much. You do want to see a good performance.
No, you're right. Still, as you say, like I think I'm speaking to hindsight with foresight.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, like you're right, man. We're facing bottom of the league. We're playing at home. We just come off the back of a 3-0 win with a couple of bangers, a couple of players, getting some confidence. We can get our goal difference up. These are the kind of games that you expect us to kind of handle well. And I think we've got to expect that and shouldn't accept nothing but that. So I agree with you, bro. Like we'll be happy that we get the 3 points, but I'll be a bit disappointed afterwards if we just kind of scraped a 1-0 lead or, didn't, we're just missing chance after chance after chance. If I'm honest with you, I'm not being deadly and ruthless as I expect us to be. So obviously big up AFC always, big up Waffledon, big up everyone in the chat as well. Before we wrap up, obviously as we will go soon, do you anticipate Arsenal to kind of go on another winning run, or do you think it will it's tough to kind of be as consistent as we have been to start the season, the next couple of games, just say onto New Year's? Because I'm setting another target. As you know, I love my little targets and 5-game, 6-game runs. I think up until the New Year's, I think the Bournemouth game, but that could include the Bournemouth game, I think we should be winning every single game.
Well, I do think we're going to go on a winning run, but why I pause just now is I see this comment by AFC Always. He says, have you heard Saliba is out injured for next year? Also, Timber is out injured. I don't know if we could check that like on the spot. I don't know. I can also look up and see if I can see it. But again, taking that out of my brain and just assuming what I know right now and going based off of that. Yes, I do think absolutely we could go on a winning run. I think we've played a lot of difficult games, and I think even through those difficult games, we've shown a basis and we've shown a base level and a floor level that to beat us, you're gonna have to play a good game. You're gonna have to play your almost best game. You're gonna have to play the best game of the season. That's probably Villa's most memorable game of the season. Has to be. I mean, yes, they won 4-3 against Brighton, but a win against a team like that at home for a massive kickoff like that, that's probably one of Aston Villa's best games. We saw Chelsea. We played Chelsea at home. That was probably one of their biggest performances. Liverpool haven't gotten a statement win like that since probably, I guess, other than Real Madrid. They haven't had some big wins like that since. So if you beat Arsenal this season, you've played a really good game of football. So do I think Arsenal could go on a winning run? Absolutely, because the defense has shown it has a basis that they can fall back on. The goalkeeper is incredible, and we're getting our attacking players back. And if we stay fit overall as a team, once Gabriel comes back, I'm telling you, this team, we already said it, has the depth to win things. And I think the team, once we get our players back, has the quality to win things. So the biggest thing for me is just getting those guys back from injury, managing guys through their injuries, and managing the squad through a difficult winter period. Because it is that, and it will be that. But yeah, very, very confident that we can go on a winning run, man. Now, which players do I think is going to have the best running run? I think that could depend. I mean, I think a lot of guys have a lot to prove, like I even mentioned in this Wolves game. So many big players that have to step up. I'm looking forward to a lot of guys stepping up. I want to see Eze take this game by the scruff, take not only this game by the scruff of the neck, but future games by the scruff of the neck. I want to see Martinelli continue to get goals for himself. I want to see Gyokeres get goals for himself, Saka. And ultimately, from a defensive perspective, and KAPE has a run in the team now where he has the ability to establish himself. He's probably one of our only fit center backs. And even if Saliba comes back, let's just say Saliba is fit for this game, he's gonna have to state his authority alongside when Gabriel's not there. He's only on loan. I don't know if it's an obligation or option to buy, but he has to go and prove himself because again, Gabriel's spot is not going anywhere. You have to go and rip that from his cold dead hands. So hoping that KAPE could keep up some good performances that I've seen him have, keep the clean sheets up, and ultimately put your name in the hat for whenever rotation is needed, whenever Gabriel needs to be managed, put your name in the hat that you can get minutes, man. Because Calafiori is there coming. Norgard could show that he could play there. You can mix it up with a lot of few guys. So prove to yourself that you can win it. Prove to the manager you can win that position.
Yeah, I think we should be winning all the games up until New Year's. We should be consistent. We're trying to establish that momentum again. Players fit or not fit. I think obviously, luckily, we're getting a lot of the attackers back, and hopefully Saliba and Trosser's back soon. We only have, Kai Havertz, who's rumored to be returning in a couple of weeks, and Gabriel, who Mikel also said should be returning in a couple of weeks. Hopefully that is true, to be back soon. So as you said, it's only Mosquera that seems to have the more longer term injury out of everyone else. So yeah, hopefully we do get players back and we can see a lot of rotation. I think what will be the key to winning these games is rotation and kind of keep players fresh, keeping players hungry, rewarding players, keeping people minutes and playing the players that are in best form a lot of minutes. And I think that will do well. It's better to now that we have a lot of players available. And I think for the defensive players, there's going to be a lot of focus on them. I think KAPE continues fine form. I think obviously when Gabriel's back, I think because he can play left back, he can play centre back, I think he will be an option that will be used in all these positions. I think his crossing is a very underrated thing, and I think something that we'll see a lot of, obviously, once he potentially gets deployed as a left back. I think just for the note, I think Calafiori's cameo against Brugge was nice as well when he came on centre back. He was very accustomed, very solid, very calm, very aggressive, very assured as well. So it's just another nice moment to know that we have obviously same player playing in different positions, but they can play both positions very, very well, very, very comfortable. So that's another advantage, because that can be a stylistic change you might do that can just tweak something for a certain game that you want to exploit things. So that's where that is. But yeah, I think some confidence, some clean sheets as well. We need to kind of start getting other offensive performances right. I think we're letting in a lot more goals than we have been. So we can get some clean sheets and start to be consistent on that end, start to shut up shop, and then obviously get some deadly attacks. I think it's just exciting to have Jesus, because we know that like even when he plays, I think the team will be different. And I think the pressure that he will bring to Gyokeres will potentially bring his level up and help take some opportunities. And I've got firing Gyokeres, a confident Gyokeres is only more beneficial for our team and help for us. So that's what I want realistically. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Wolves on Saturday. Hopefully, it is a good game. Hopefully, it is a win, and hopefully we can relax for a week to the Everton game and put some pressure on our rivals, man. I do appreciate everyone that's tuned in with us today. Obviously, if you haven't already, the link will be in the description on both streams for both of our channels. So go hit the subscribe button to both KAPE Pausa and Gunner Street. If you haven't subscribed already, obviously go check out Gunner Street Letters video, reacting to Samuel Nazari, the story of him at Arsenal. Very, 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 very good video. Reaction video to a good player profile. So go check that out. Obviously, new style of video. Go hit the likes on that. Go hit the comments. Go engage as well.
Appreciate it, people.
Obviously, make sure you guys tune in to our watch along on Saturday for the Wolves game as well. We'll be lively. We'll be entertaining. So we appreciate all of you guys that's tuned in. Steph, you have anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, man. Big up the people. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the likes as always. Show some love to the latest videos on both KAPE Pausa and Gunner Street. Show some love with the likes. If you're first time here, go see what we have. We have player profiles, player analysis, breakdowns, reviews, reactions, all on both of our channels. So show some love, people. Show some support. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one, people. Big up.
Catch you guys in the next one. Obviously, it's been your boy Cape. It's been Steph. Gunner Street. Yeah. Obviously, you guys have a nice evening. Have a nice night. One more day of work, Friday. So we'll get through it. And obviously, the weekend is there for us to enjoy some football and relaxation, man. So, peace and love, everybody. Appreciate you guys in the stream. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And peace.
Peace.